be recorded. And with that, let's get started with routines.
So during quarantine, I'm pretty sure all of us suffered with, having a routine and, juggling. Many of us are not only students, many of us have children. I myself have a child, I have one child, and we have to juggle many different things during the day. So putting school first as well as my child's schooling was very difficult and very challenging during the first announcements of the pandemic and quarantine. It was very difficult to be able to juggle all those hats. So I found that keeping a routine helped me keep productive and hold myself accountable for my daily tasks. I found that with my planner that I actually have a planner, I held myself accountable. So I made time for all the things that I had to do. If I was doing schooling, I found that having my son doing his schooling at the same time worked for me. So making time for each of your responsibilities is very important. And it's all about trial and error, finding out what works for you and your family. A lot of people can give you different advice, but just finding balance within yourself and seeing what works for you, seeing what is actually a reality for you will be very helpful. And structuring your time, as I mentioned, and sticking to your schedule is super important. I also found that I am the type of person that is very harsh with myself. That's why we said, please do not be harsh on yourself if you're not sticking to your A to Z list of things to do. I myself struggled with that, and I didn't feel accomplished enough if I didn't get A to Z done. So like I mentioned, just structuring your time, and if you're not able to get to it today, roll it over to the next day and write it down on your planner, making yourself accountable that day. But don't let it be the be all end all in how you feel about your routine and your responsibilities. Again, try your very best not to feel overwhelmed I know there are many things that we have to do, the many hats that we carry. Just sticking to a routine and getting down what works for you and your family will be very helpful in being able to feel accomplished and ready for the day and for the week, actually, or however much you plan ahead for. Getting into that, preparing yourself at night for the following day. We have mentioned that it's very helpful to get to a routine before that day. So instead of, some people do enjoy getting a routine down on that same day, but I find it helpful if I'm already planning for the week or planning for the month, putting important dates, whatever doctor visits and due dates I have for my courses. I like to do that ahead of time. That way I can, be ahead of the game and not fall behind in my many, many tasks to do. So that's where we start off with managing a successful and, life during quarantine, having a routine and structure.
Thank you so much, Berenice. And I want to point out, and I think it's very important that you mentioned not being hard on yourself. And I think that if we have students here listening, I think that's one of the things that a lot of students do is if you didn't accomplish something that you feel like you had to accomplish, it kind of follows you all the way through the week, right? It kind of makes you feel like you didn't do something right. And so you have kind of like a downfall from there. And then you start being really harsh on yourself. I want to let everybody know also that please make sure you put in your questions on the chat box. Thank you so much, Corretta, for letting our students know. If you guys have questions, if you guys have comments, feel free to use the chat box. We will refer to them at the end of the workshop and we will make sure that we get to your question. going back to what Berenice had said, it's very important that you do develop a schedule, that you do develop sort of a routine. And a routine brings normality to the situation, right? Nothing is normal right now. Everything's online. You guys are doing school online. You're getting emails. So I feel like there's no sense of like, how am I doing in class? You're not seeing your teacher. Maybe you know, how many times has it happened that a lot of students go to class and then you see your instructor and you remember, oh my God, this is due next week, and you want to ask a question. When you don't have that face to face, you start, you tend to forget a lot of things. And so I think it's really important that Berenice pointed out, trying to be okay with yourself and taking it one day at a time. Berenice did mention routine. And I wanted to see, Berenice, if you can share with us, what does your routine look like? What does a day in your day look like? Because you're a student and you're also a mother, but what does your routine consist of?
Yeah, so like I've said, before I used to have to wake up at 7 a.m. and wake my son up at 7 a.m. and have breakfast and, you know, everything to the T. And I found that we were both struggling. He was struggling. He felt like, Mom, why do I have to wake up at this time to do this when we're going to stay home? And you know what? I found that it was much easier, making my life easier. I wake up, I get ready for the day. I do the same thing. I get ready as if I were to go to Rio Hondo and sit in that desk with my professor. So I get ready, I take a shower, I get dressed. You know, if I feel like it, I do my makeup. That like you said, Ms. Arayano, it gives me a sense of peace and normal, like quarantine isn't going on. There isn't a pandemic right now. And I have my own breakfast and I start getting through my emails. It's difficult because I never had to be, I guess, accountable for like all these emails that are coming in and making sure that I'm on top of my game with that, because that's already a task. If we, you know, we've gotten those emails and that's our form of communication, making those phone calls before I get started with my own schooling. And then, you know, my son wakes up and then I've already caught up on everything I had to do. If I had anything pending, that's where I get it done in the morning when he's still napping. And then, you know, he wakes up and I have to juggle, I have to put that hat on of being a mother, make him his breakfast, getting him ready for the day the same way I would get myself ready, having him put a change of clothes, you know, letting him know in a few minutes you're going to start doing workbook or you're going to start doing ABC Mouse, whatever it is. He's in kindergarten, by the way. So that gives me a sense of normality, but it wasn't that simple before. I was being very harsh on myself, and that's why we put that in there, because I was, you know, you have to meet A to Z, and I started realizing that he was not enjoying it. I was not enjoying it. I was, you know, wanting to do the perfect mother things, but we were not enjoying our days. It felt much more laxed and easier the way that we're doing it right now. It feels normal, and I actually see that I'm getting, you know, more things done in that way, where I'm not stressing him out, I'm not stressing myself out, I'm letting things flow, and I'm getting to the things that are, you know, that need to get done right away. And, you know, going through my my lovely journal and my lovely schedule and getting that done in that way.
Thank you so much, Berenice. And so for those students listening out, you do have a comment, Berenice. I want to point out that they say from Jennifer, and she says that she really likes how you outline you and your son's school activities at the same time. And that take that, students, as a tip. If you outline that time, so when you're sitting down, if you have kids, I think it's hard for students as it is, but when you add children to the equation, it gets a little harder. And we have a couple of students here in the workshop that are going to talk about that. But that's one tip I really want to point out. If you're already doing work and you have work to do, having your children set a routine where it says, okay, so mommy's working, and so now it's time for you to work as well. This is our working time. It makes it easier for you, and it gives your child a sense of belonging as well. Like mom is working, and I'm also going to be working. Children need that. It's a sense of belonging. So thank you so much, Berenice, for your tips. Thank you for sharing with us. And now we're going to go ahead and go with self-care.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Teresa again, and I would like to take this moment to talk about self-care. We all do this at one point to take care of ourselves with this quarantine being at home. I have kids of my own, and being that, you know, I have little ones that need a lot of attention, it was kind of hard at the beginning for me because I didn't know how to deal with this, and I was stressing out myself too much, and I was getting myself really worked up and feeling myself that, okay, I need to take some time to relax, because if I'm feeling stressed out, I'm gonna stress out my kids, and I was not finding the way, so I had to call friends, my mentor, to help me out, because you need that in your life when you have a lot of things going on, and being that this thing took a toll on everybody, and it has also on my children. I have a 5-year-old, I have a 7-year-old, and I have a 2-year-old, where it takes a toll. So we need to really take care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're gonna pass that on to our kids. So we need that time to say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go step outside, either take a walk, call a friend, maybe, I myself like to listen to music, so I just put my music on. I'll walk. I like to, dance. I'll just dance and just take that energy that I have out, so I could be okay and be able to continue with my day and the planning as well. I think that's a good point that Berenice also said, that we need to have a plan. So taking care of yourself means a lot, because if you don't take care of yourself, you could get sick. The stress, anxiety, all that takes place, and it leaves you there. Well, okay, what do I do? So just connecting with people that you love, like your friends, your church, neighbors, anything that is going to make you feel better at the end of the day, so you could go on with whatever else that you left because you were maybe stressed out or not thinking right. Because when we don't think right, we might hurt people, we might hurt our loved ones, and it's not fair for them, because we are not taking care of ourselves first. So I think that's one of the things that we should know, that we need to tell ourselves that we're going to be okay, because when we're small, we're not taught to take care of our brains. That's what we need to do in order to pass that on to our kids and help them as well, because they don't know what's going on, and they think, okay, what do I do? So they start getting maybe antsy, or they get out of hand, and we start putting all that stress on them when it's not them, it's us. That's why I feel that we need to do stuff that it's going to make us feel more at ease, more relaxed, maybe having a tea, again, maybe writing on a journal, and just taking those walks, when it's okay, when it's, I know right now it's hot, we should be able to take those walks maybe in the mornings or maybe at night, to feel, that, right, it's a big stress on everybody. So just taking care of yourself, your health, exercising also helps. And just taking care of yourself means a lot, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we're going to be lost, and we're going to put all that stress on the ones that we love, and it's not fair for them at least.
Teresa, thank you so much for saying that. And I really like some of the things that you pointed out. I think one of the biggest one, and like you said, we are not taught to take care of our brains. And I think really we're not taught how to take care of our emotions, right? Because it arises from not learning how to take a break, or it arises from, if you're anxious, if you're feeling scared, we don't know how to react to those feelings. I really like that you have on one of your points is to look for a quiet place to meditate. Talk to me about why do you feel that that's important? And then if you do it, how does it help you?
Meditating, it's a good, because it brings you to your inner self. And I've tried doing meditation in the morning for myself, but I sometimes I don't get to it because my kids wake up early. So I just do maybe 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes do help. And it's just finding yourself in that peace to be able to start your day.
And I want to just kind of point out to that, to those students listening right now, if you don't have to be a poetic, you don't have to be a meditated person. This is actually, a lot of people would say this is not a good time to start because you're already indoors. But if you can, like Teresa said, and this is kind of a mantra that I live by, and I do teach my students this, and I don't know if I feel, maybe some of my students feel like I'm a crazy lady, but I do make my students meditate at some time. It's very important for your brain to have that 5 minutes, even if you do 5 minutes of self-isolation, of where you're by yourself with your I can't talk today, whether your thoughts, you're going to be okay. Because we have so much going on. And if we take the time to just have a seat, stay with ourselves just for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and reflect just by yourself, that is going to help you tremendously. We are on overload of everything, stress, anxiety, overload of feeling like you're not doing enough. There's so many things going on right now. So if you take those 5 minutes, and like Teresa said, it's really good if you do it early in the morning, because you start out and you set your intentions. I'm a big believer, if you wake up early, and even if you wake up early just to sit by yourself, if you have children, this is especially beneficial for you. If you can take that time, and I know it's going to require you to wake up, then you're looking at me probably like, are you kidding me? All I want to do is sleep, and I have 5 minutes to sleep in, I'm going to sleep in. But it's really, really good for you to, even if you wake up 10 minutes before, go to the restroom, lock yourself in your restroom. You're okay to have 10 minutes by yourself. As mothers, I feel that that's sometimes a little bit, we feel like we're, like a little bit guilty. We have to be there for our children, but taking that time is really going to help you out. Also, if you don't have children, the same applies to you. Take those 5 minutes for yourself, kind of sit down in your restroom or a quiet place, and kind of go in your head, like just be mindful and sit down. Okay, today's going to be a good day. This is what I'm going to focus on. And that's going to help out a lot. You also said something I want to know, Teresa, you have
Yes.
2, 5, and 7. You have, wow, that's,
Yeah.
what do you do with your kids to help them with, the emotional things that are happening right now in your household? How do you manage that? Because I'm sure that you've had instances where maybe you feel like you're not doing enough. And would you like to incorporate, how do you take care of that? Like, how do you take care of your kids feeling the emotions that they're feeling right now?
With I talked to my 7-year-old, and my 5-year-old, and I explained to them. I talk to them every day because I feel that having that communication with them, it helps them open up to their feelings of them not being able to go to school or being around their friends, and I tell them that this is just something temporary, that it's not going to be forever. My 7-year-old does have class online, so I do see him that he feels more comfortable. He feels that his friends are there, so I talk to him to take that time to be a student again, because it's just 2 days out of the week when he does that. So I just tell him, just put all your effort when you're online, talk to your friends, and and go by his day. And every day I talk to him, how you're doing, how's he feeling. With my 5-year-old, it's a little bit challenging because he doesn't understand that much. So I try to talk to him in a way that he might hear me. And there's times where he just doesn't want to hear me, and I just tell him, Daddy, you gotta, let's do this. And I'll put the ABC mouse, and I'll work with him. I'll try to read with him. Just take him out for a walk, me and him, because he's a middle child, so he needs more of that attention, and it helps him to uh, be more centered, more a little bit calm. And sometimes when I have to go to work, he gets sad and he starts giving his dad a hard time, and I tell him that he can't do that, that he has to stay the same with how me and him talk. He could talk to his dad, he could talk to his brothers, but he's funny. He just likes to just he has his needs, and that's how I just try to connect with them and play with them. And with my 2-year-old, he just likes to do what my other two do. And but what has helped me is my two older kids. I have a 27-year-old and a 21-year-old that they help me a lot. So they take them out for walks, or with the bicycles, and it's really helpful when they help me, when they step in and they know, okay, mom needs help, we'll step in and they'll help me out.
I'm so glad that you have people around you to help you out. And I want to kind of bring it back to why it's so important for you guys. We already spoke about routine, right? We have self-care, and it's really, really important. And those things, even like Teresa mentioned, having that time to go out for a walk, having that time to call somebody that you love talking to, that's self-care. I would even go ahead as even saying, if you want to, you know, make something, put on a mask if you want to. That's self-care. just having those 5 minutes, 10 minutes, reading a book on self-care. And so this is going to bring us, thank you so much, Teresa. It's going to bring us back to finding success with a very special population. And I'll have Corretta go ahead and start it off.
Good morning again, and thank you for joining us again. My name is Corretta, and again, my major is ASL, which is American Sign Language. I am a 45-year-old student with a 24-year-old, soon to be 25-year-old special needs son. So this subject here is finding success in quarantine with individuals with special needs and elderly is very important to me. So it touches my heart. So this is why we make sure that we incorporated everyone, because it's very hard for each and every one of us. Alex, you want to just give us an introduction? He's my co-host.
Yes, I would like to introduce myself. So, hello, my name is Alexandros Martinez, and I am a 25-year-old student at El Camino College studying special education assistant. I have two friends who have special needs. My cousin, Reggie, who lives all the way in Moreno Valley, and I have a nearby best friend named James, and he also has special needs. Because of them, I decided to study special education assistant.
Thank you so much. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. So I'm just starting routine as my co-host Berenice stated in the beginning. Routine has to be a part of an individual with special needs. During this quarantine, it's very difficult, even for my son. At first, he just didn't really understand why he had to stay inside. He didn't understand that he couldn't go outside. He couldn't go to the program. But then we had to implement a routine, because without them having a routine, they're lost, because that's how they live their lives. With a routine, they know what they're doing for the day, for the next day. They're getting themselves prepared at the night before as just a part of a routine. And now the routine is broken, so it's very hard. Sometimes my son wakes up and he's crying because he just doesn't understand, why can't he just go outside, wait for his bus to come? As he outside, he's playing and listening to his music. That's his time of meditation and peace by himself. But right now he can't do that. So during the week, I'm a student, so I'm online. So there's times where if we're just, here in the house, we get up, we march around the room. I make it fun for him during the day while we're still in the home, because otherwise we're going to be sitting here and we're going to be stagnant. We're going to be stale, and then his body won't be able to move about, and then that causes other problems. And we want to be healthy at all times, yet in this quarantine. Making self-care a priority for the individuals is extremely important as well. So I work out 5 times a week. So I include him every single Friday for my workouts. So every Friday he comes to work out with me, and I enjoy it because I see his strength and his weaknesses. But he's like, okay, he's up, I'll wake him up. Good morning. He says, Mom, do you need your water? And I say, yes. And then we're there making sure that he's getting his self-care for the day. And he makes sure that, even after that, I still make it a full day for just him and I. And he always tells me, Mom, I like mom and son outings. So we make sure we have our mask. Even for the elderly, you have to make sure that they stay on their routine as well. Make sure they have their mask when you're taking them to the grocery store, or when they're so used to going to the bank on the 1st, the 15th, or whatever specific day of the month that they go to the bank. Make sure they have their mask, and even make it funner for them. Give them a special character that they like. Specialize it, make it personal for them. So that's their self-care. If they need gloves, give them some colorful, women, we like pink. Give them some pink gloves so they can feel pretty, yet even in this quarantine time. You don't want them to make them to feel like they're depressed. Bring color. Color removes bad moods. So we have to incorporate things that's going to help our special needs and our elderly. Make sure to take good care of yourself so that you may be able to take care of your loved one. As Teresa stated, self-care is important. Taking care of yourself all the time is very important, especially in quarantine, especially while the weather is changing. You know, it's hot, it's cold. Even when this pandemic wasn't going on, we still would get sick because of the change of the weather. But now when you go to the store, make sure you get your cold medicine, get cough drops and things that you need, that you're not constantly just back and forth outside, so you're not exposing yourself to whatever they're saying that's going on, this COVID-19. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Maybe again, meditation is important, even for the senior and the special needs. Take a time. My son loves gospel music. So there's times where he's in his room and I'm thinking, is he talking to himself? No, but it's his singing his songs, or I don't know, whatever religion you guys are, you know, we're Christians, so he prays. So sometimes he's praying. And then encourage one another to accomplish goals every day. And as again, routine, self-care, don't knock yourself down if you're not able to complete those tasks for the day. Again, as Berenice said, she said, put it off for the next day. Again, just get up, start moving. If you guys are in the house and you have no way to get out, just go outside. If you can step out on your balcony or step out on your stairs, exercise then. Don't get stiff in your body, because that makes it bad as well. You have to keep yourself moving. You have to continue to make your loved ones feel like even in this time, we are still together. Family is important, as in self-care. Talk to someone if you need someone. Talk to a lot of people during the day. We're all at home, right? So talk to somebody, call someone if they're in need. Say, hey, you know what? We're going to watch this movie together. Tell your seniors, you know what? Tonight is movie time. Make them popcorn or their favorite snack, you know, or their favorite drink, or give them a special treat, because guess what? They made it through the week. So guess what? They accomplished something for that week. Alex, you have something to say?
Yes, I do. So speaking of disabilities, if you have anyone who has intellectual disabilities like epilepsy, seizures, autism, or any physical disabilities that might render them in a wheelchair, you must always tend to that person. One example is prepping meals. For example, my friend James goes on a low carb diet to reduce any risk of epilepsy. So what I did in honor of him was eating low carb, which is eliminating sugar and skipping bread, pasta, soda, and any high carbs from every single meal. Nothing but vegetables, meat, fruits, and oils. So during this time, I've been prepping low carb meals, whether if it's baking chicken and broccoli. And I feel like this COVID-19 epidemic has opened me up to something new. So
Alexandros, I want to point out that that's such a great way for you to support, you know, for you to dive in and try to also, you know, start cooking low carb because he can't have it in his diet. That's such a great way to support someone. And I commend you for that, for trying that. And like you said, it made you like to do things you maybe would have never tried before, right?
Yes.
Corretta, anything else? I'm sorry, Alexandros, you cut off.
So I wasn't sure if Corretta covered making self-care priority, but I would add that you make to be aware of when you would have to feed that individual, whether they have physical or mental disabilities, or if they were the age of 55 or over, or when to bathe them. I would add on to what Corretta said. Make commitments and plan out your day ahead of time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Corretta, is that your son?
Yes, this is my son. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So yeah, so I try to make sure that he's up and he's prepared. We didn't, get a haircut for a long time because we were in this quarantine, but we had to go ahead and get one so he could feel good about himself too. So again, that's part of self-care, making sure that his barber is special. He's been going to his barber for a long time, so he knows him and he knows how to cut his hair and what he likes and doesn't like. And you make sure that your special needs or your elderly person has someone that they care about as well.
Absolutely, Corretta. And thank you so much for pointing that out. I do want to point out that you did make such a great reference, and I want to point it out again because somebody commented on the Renee commented on the chat, and when I first saw that you guys put together of not just special needs but also the elderly, and they are used to a routine as well. Just the simple fact of them going to the bank, that's trying to keep with a routine. Correct, like you said, making sure that they also feel like there's somebody there that is there for them. And I know that's a special place for you. And I can see it of how emotional you get. But it's important, and it's important that we point it out and that we let everybody know the importance of not just for all of us in the house right now, but for those people who are in special needs or who are elderly, right? They had a routine going and all of a sudden they can't do it anymore. And like Corretta said, even just something as simple as going to the bank does throw people off. And I want to ask you, Corretta, and then I'm gonna have Alexandros speaking. But what does your routine look like with your son right now?
We wake up in the morning. He wakes up and he's instantly hungry. So we make sure that he eats, or I'm cooking breakfast, and then again, I make sure that I'm okay. And even though Berenice, she's great at getting up, that's not always my day. Sometimes where, I'm a student, I'm staying up till 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, finishing my assignments, but my son constantly checks in on me. He'll be like, Mom, are you okay? Do you need anything? So, we don't always get dressed, because there's those days, even when we weren't in quarantine, where we didn't get dressed today. But sometimes there are those days where you want to get up, you want to get dressed, you want to feel like, okay, this is, quote unquote normal, and then we're breakfast, and then, maybe we may watch a movie together, we eat at the table together, we make sure that everyone is taken care of in the house, or, and recently, I had a loss of my brother. So we're also dealing with that in this quarantine. So just dealing with emotions and making sure you still take care of your special needs and elderly, no matter, even yourself. You just have to make sure that you are in the right mental space, because quarantine will make us feel like we're just not able to make it, but we are. If you guys put all these steps that we have shared with you today in place, I promise you that you will make it through this quarantine. And when you out, you'll be like, oh my God, I was able to make it through this quarantine just with those few steps that we've shared with you today. And we are so thankful that we were able to come together, every one of my co-hosts, and definitely my teacher, who is a special person. I met her during, my winter session, and I've never met a teacher who was so concerned with her students. And I'm sharing this today because we may not never know when we can share and give people their flowers while they're still here. And I appreciate her so much. And I just always want to take every class with her, but she doesn't teach everything. So, but again, quarantine life is something special. And I feel this is the time that we need to get back to knowing each and every one of our family members, our friends, and spending time with them, just slowing down your life and getting it together. So when this life, even if we get back to halfway being normal, we know that the time was spent and took out during this quarantine time to get reacquainted with our lives, with ourselves, with our families, and everyone around us. Continue to reach out to your loved ones in this time, and we're all gonna make it.
Corretta, thank you so much. I want to thank you. You're gonna make me cry, and I'm such a crier. If you don't know me, I am so emotional all the time. So I was I want to thank you. Thank you so much. I think that as students, like I told you before, I do see myself in each and one of you. I've always said it. It's like I'm seeing myself back in my time and my when I was a college student. So I always do have a close special place for all my students. So thank you so much, Corretta. I appreciate you. I appreciate you as a student and as a person you that I've encountered in my life. And just like I learned from you guys, I hope that you guys learned from me. Thank you so much, Corretta. I'm going to ask Alexandros the same thing. Alexandros, tell us a little bit about your routine. What does your routine look like right now? And especially with your cousin that you said has a disability, like how do you manage that? How does your routine look like?
So I haven't. So while my cousin is living in South Redondo because of the COVID-19, his stepmother his stepmother who lives nearby me confirmed that James is living with his mother until COVID-19 is over. And sometimes I take pictures of low carb recipes to share with the family, and they were like, "Awesome! That looks like a cool pizza." Like, for example, I made pizza out of almond flour, which is lower in carbs, and they really loved the picture of it. So on my family, I don't have any, there's no one in the household with special needs. My parents are in their 50s, and it's going to be a couple of years before they are senior citizens, 55 and over. So I've been helping my dad build sheds and build a garden for my mom, and I've been helping mom prep meals. She's also going low carb to go healthy during this hard time.
And what about you, Alexandros? What does your routine look like? Because I want to point out everybody, Alexandros is my student as well, and he is just on top of his assignments. Just, I mean, I could not, it's just, if you think about it, I don't know if there's any teachers in the chat, but if you would think about a student, like a dream student of you're like, oh, it's already done and it's trending ahead of time, Alexandros would be your student. Alexandros always keeps on type and on top of things. And so I want to know, Alexandros, how did you do it with this going on? What does your routine look like?
So whatever I find in the fridge, I would make a recipe out of it. So it's basically odds and ends. If I find one thing out of it, I would find a recipe, and if whatever I don't have, I can go shopping for it. And that's your meal for the day. And sometimes we have enough stuff at the house that would be enough for the recipe. So my mom does most of the cooking, and I help her out with shopping and what we need. And there we have it, our dinner of the day.
Wonderful. How about at your school? How do you handle this college? For example, your classes?
So whenever my days are not busy, I log on to Zoom through the computer, and whenever I'm helping my dad with building the sheds or cleaning the backyard, I would telephone you to confirm my participation for the day. I realize that we don't just have to log in through the computer. We also have telephones, meaning if I want to confirm my participation in your class for that day, I would telephone you said participation for this day.
Yes, you do. Thank you so much, Alexandros. And it does, I like I said before, always on top of it. And you've seemed to manage it really, really well during this quarantine. So you do have sort of like a routine, I would say, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So with that said, thank you so much, both of you, for pointing out some of the very, very special points that has to do with like students with disability or special needs and elderly. Everybody's in quarantine, right? And sometimes we tend to kind of leave those things to the side, but I'm so glad that you guys pointed them out. This is the end of our presentation. I want to thank you, all of you, for joining us. For those of you who are on, this is our students' contacts, and I'm going to open it right now for any questions that you all might have. Those of you in the workshop that you might want to go ahead and ask us.
I'd love to ask a question if it's okay with everybody. This is Renee Marshall, and I'm curious kind of what you guys are doing to prepare for your education moving forward, since things are kind of unknown. Like, are you planning, like mentally planning kind of like a plan A if things are face-to-face, or plan B if things are distance learning, or just how are you feeling going into summer and fall, and what kind of concerns do you have, or just kind of what thoughts do you have?
For me, hopefully, while some classes at El Camino College are going to be distance learning for most of the fall semester, hopefully we should be back on campus by Christmas, but by the end of Christmas 2020, by Christmas 2020. It depends on how COVID dies down in fall.
So I'll answer that as well. For me, because I am an older student, I always have to prepare because it's just not me. So for me, I am on the line looking up classes. I am in EOPNS, shout out to EOPNS program at El Camino as well. They have workshops for us to get online to see if we need assistance. I've gone into that workshop. They've recommended teachers if you're in those classes. I suggest just getting connected and just keep preparing myself, keep looking online for those classes. What am I able to take that I'm able to succeed at online, because this is so difficult for me because I'm an in-person person, hands-on. So even getting used to this online is very difficult. So I'm making sure that am I able to do this class online, because summer is coming. So I'm already enrolled in a summer class and it's online and I'm fine with that. In fall, they have hybrid classes. Some still are online and some meet in person. So I'm paying attention to that as well. So I'm able to succeed as a student. I definitely don't want to start this journey and just continue to fail. But even in COVID-19, we still have to prepare ourselves to continue to be ready, even moving forward, even if we're not going to campus towards the end of the year for fall or whatever, but we still have to prepare. And I'm constantly looking and making sure I'm able to pass this class, even if the class is going to still be online.
Thank you so much, Corretta. Anybody, Teresa or?
Yes, for myself, this is my first year of college and it wasn't what I expected. I thought I was going to be, I myself learned on hands as well. So it was kind of hard to do the online, but I got the hang of it. I do want to continue with my education. So I'm going to get more information to enroll for the summer so I could take my child development class that I need. So I'm not sure how Rio Hondo is doing it, but I whatever Rio Hondo has online, I'll go for it and do it again. I don't mind. It would help me to maneuver the system because I'm not a computer expert, but I mean I enjoyed it doing online. I mean, like I said, I learn better when I'm in the classroom and hands-on and seeing everybody there. That's how I work. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
You've come such a long way, Teresa. I want to just point out that Teresa, it's her first year as a student, and look at her. I completely voluntold her about
yes.
this work.
Thank you for helping me. Like Corretta said, you're very something that like a sister, because I'm an only child, only daughter, so I never had a sister. So to you, I come to you, and you're my mentor, and I'm glad that you were in my path to talk to. I love that I have you there, and I have you there forever.
And I want to point that out thank you so much, Teresa, but I really want to point that out that Teresa said, well, it's my first year, I'm not ready. And I remember the first time I had them Zoom in my class because I was going away on a conference. And Teresa's face was like, what do you want me to do? Just like this shock in her face, like, what are you talking? What do you mean Zoom? But look at her now. So if you did it for this remainder of the spring semester, you will be fine for the summer. And just to let you know, Rio Hondo will be online, completely online for this summer. But I'm gonna let Berenice go ahead, and then we do have another Griselda, to everyone. He said that, hello, this workshop has been very helpful. Thank you so much. I'm wondering if I will be getting a certificate that I attended this workshop. I need it for my child development class. Thank you. Unfortunately, Griselda, we don't have a certificate, but let me, you're not the first student who's asked me that. I'm gonna talk over with our regional leads and see what we can do about that. Please do not leave without emailing me. Make sure that you put your email on this group chat so I can get back to everybody on that.
Yadira, this is Renee again.
Yes.
I had a couple people from my workshops last week asking for that. And so asking for some sort of certificate.
Right.
So I think if we could get something, it'd be great. I was going to create something just from me, but
Yes.
it'd be much more legit if it was coming from the region.
I think so too, Renee. And just so you guys all know, you guys hear Renee. Renee, I'm going to introduce you and Bobby. Renee, show your face, please.
Okay, sorry I'm not all made up. I even have my hair up right now. Hi, everybody.
So,
my name is Renee Marshall, and I currently own my own company, consulting company, and I've been working with community colleges since 2004, and I've been blessed to be working with the El Camino College and the LA region recently. And so thanks for having me on today. Thanks for the workshop. You guys did great.
So Renee is, she's a very dear friend of mine. I completely love her. And she has been very supportive of us in the regional, and I'm so glad. If you guys think that I'm amazing, you guys would absolutely fall in love with Renee and push me to the side. She is the Oprah of our team. And I can't even say how much she means to us and to the regional. We also have Bobby here. Bobby, where are you? Well, she probably stepped away, but Bobby is our grant writer for El Camino College, and she's a huge part of the collaborative as well. She's kind of, Bobby and Renee are the heart and the breathing of LA Regional. So anyways, just wanted to make a shout out to them and just thank them for all their support. I do have Berenice. I never let Berenice answer. Berenice, do you want to answer the question that Renee asked about what is your plans now? What is looking, how are you going to proceed now?
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for everything. Again, Ms. Ariano, same thing with me. I feel like you were definitely one of a kind, and we do not, well, I haven't experienced very many relationships the way, mentorship, the way you have guided each and every one of us. So I really appreciate that. And thank you for sharing the other people who have helped you along the way. I think that's so important for us to be able to pave the way and for us to continue, going, and succeeding is, being given those resources and people who have helped you along the way. I think that's really important. So thank you so much. But yes, I did want to point out that for when everything transitioned to at home and stay at home for however much longer we're going to be, I found it very difficult that I felt like at a loss, like what was going to happen with transferring, right? What was going to happen with me? I worked in the transfer center at Rio Hondo, so that meant that I was, given all the resources and information, and I even attended many of the campus visits. And, how are we going to do that now? So I made sure that I asked, my the transfer center, how is that going to happen? We're doing everything virtually now. So I guess it's just, being like I said, holding yourself accountable. If you have, educational goals and you need to know if you're on the right path for this semester, next semester, and if you can handle that online, like Corretta had mentioned, because, there's certain courses that maybe are not going to be as simple as others, and you're going to have to be in the classroom. I actually am I have learning disabilities, so I am a part of disabled students. I am in the disabled students program, so I need to keep a hold of my disabled students counselors. I'm also in TRIO, I'm also in EOPS, so all the different programs that I'm in, I have learned to take advantage of 100% during this time. I'm emailing the people that I need to email, asking them, am I on the right path? Is this the course I need? Making those meetings with my counselors or, you know, academic advisors, whoever it is. I've filled up my planner with all those meetings because more specifically, the disabled counselors, you know, really know what we can handle, and they advise us to different professors or whatever the case may be. So, and then also for myself, I have accommodations, even though we're home. I also still get those accommodations at home. So what I found is definitely taking advantage of every single of the resources. Don't think that because we're not on campus, those resources are gone. Those resources are just online. It's as simple as making those appointments, you know, checking up, seeing when their counselors are available. And then I did want to point out, we said self-care today, and I believe every college, community college, has a mental health and psychological center. And I also suffered from mental health. So I actually started getting mental health services through Hondo College. And as soon as the pandemic happened and we had to stay at home, we didn't obviously meet up with our therapist on campus, but it simply, they figured it out. They rolled it over to online, just like this, Zoom meetings with our therapists. So don't think that there are no resources available to you. There are, everything that is on campus is just switched over to these Zoom meetings or phone call meetings. Everything is available to each and every one of us. We just have to inquire.
Thank you so much, Berenice. I do want to keep cautious and let you all know it is 10:55, and with those 5 minutes left, I do want to open it up again if there's any other questions. Griselda, I know you asked a question, and I will work on this. You're not the only one that had asked, and I will talk with the collaborative, like Renee mentioned, and we will let them know and see if we can come up with a certificate, and so we can, because this is a professional development, and it's an hour. So, and I know how much you need it for your child development class. I also want to bring it back to Bobby. Bobby, can you unmute yourself now?
Yes. She called out on me earlier, and I was talking and I wasn't realizing that I was muted. So, and I had my camera turned off too. So, yeah, so I'm here. You didn't have a particular question, right? You just want me to introduce myself?
I wanted to give you a shout out, and I wanted to just show you off and tell you how much I appreciate you and Renee, and how much I love you guys, and how much you guys have mean and helped out. And I do that because I want my students to see that. I think that sometimes my students see me and they think like, oh, well, she got a master's and that's why she's where she's at and she's there. And it's not like that. I didn't get here by myself. I always tell that to them. It's that it's a lot of work, but you do meet amazing people along the way. And I just wanted to give a shout out to you and Renee. And, you know, yes, Corretta. And so Bobby is, like I said, she holds a very special place in my heart as well. And Bobby, tell them what you do.
I am the Director of Grants Development and Management of that office for El Camino District. I write grant proposals. I maintain websites. I
That's everything. She just
do whatever has to do, yeah, about grant. I'd say I could share my screen if you wanted. I can show them the website. I was going to say a lot of these, as people are sending in their recordings of these sessions, you know, because we've had this virtual workshop series throughout the month of May. I'm posting them on the statewide website.
Tanya.
So if there are other sessions you guys wanted to go to and maybe couldn't go to, hopefully eventually at least most of them will be posted there. I know that there was at least one. I was talking to one of the presenters from Laverne, and those, I don't think she's going to post the recording of the video. She is going to send me other materials and resources that she discussed in her video, and so that will be posted. I have them posted by name, the title of the session.
Thank you so much. Tanya would be, Tanya, we just want to shout out that you should, right now that Bobby shares the screen, because Tanya was asking me if this is going to be recorded. Yes, Tanya, it will be recorded, and Bobby will show you right now the website. That's where we have all the recordings. So we've had the whole month long of workshops. You can go to the regional website and check it out. I'm going to stop sharing, Bobby, so that you can be able to share.
Okay. So the main website is teacherprepprogram.org. And if you go over here, let's see, come on, behave. I made a page just for the virtual workshop series. And it has the programs on there. I left the programs up because there's still some this week. But then you can see here how I have it's like accordion file. So it's listed by the title of the session. So there's Renee. And then as you can see, there's some below: teaching your occupation, thriving in the classroom. And for instance, like on Renee's thriving in the classroom one, you can see how it has the description of the workshop, it has the recording, but it also right down here below has the materials, you know, from the workshop. So if as the presenters are sending me materials, I'll also have them posted here. You click on it, it opens it up. It's her 10 tips. It's a one-page thing. But that's what it'll be like. The resources will be on that page. So it's teacherprepprogram.org, and then under the side menu, it's under the events and calendars information.
Thank you so much, Bobby. This workshop.
I know there's a lot of early care and child development, not faculty, but students on the line. I do want to let you know, last Friday I gave a workshop on behavior management and positive discipline with children, and I'm uploading it to Google right now and sending it to Bobby later today. So that might be a topic that may be of interest to you guys, especially any of you who are parents too. Any tips on making it through quarantine with kids right now are healthy. So we'll have that uploaded probably like by tomorrow or the next day. So keep an eye out for the website because it might be one of the workshops you want to watch.
Thank you so much, Renee. I want to also let all of you guys know that I don't know, do we have a lot of students or professionals on this workshop? I don't know what it is. Hi, Jennifer, I can see you. Are you a student?
Yes, I'm a student.
What college do you attend?
Trade Tech.
Wonderful. Okay. Let's see. I just want to get a sense of feeling of where we have the students. Does anybody else want to share what college you're from? Hey, Tanya.
Hi. Yes, I attend Los Angeles Mission College.
Which one?
Mission College, Los Angeles Mission College.
Wonderful. Anybody else?
Tanya, have you ever taken anything with Gina Peterson?
I have not.
Okay, sign up for one of her classes. She's a buddy of mine. She's great. She also runs teacher prep at a different campus, so she's a really good person to network with.
Gina Peterson, I'll look her up.
And I want to mention, Renee, thank you so much. And I think maybe if you can, you guys, it's 11:02. So if those of you who have to go, I completely understand. But those of you who want to stick around, I just want to point out the importance of having this mentor or sticking to somebody if you're a student, so that it can help you along your career. Renee just mentioned about Gina. And so it's these, like, you want to make sure that you stay connected with us. It's important that you have a mentor, somebody to run back to so that you can excel.
Well, and there's nothing like when you get your degree or your certificate, whatever you're aiming for, and then you come back and let us know, and then we can help to network you to get your position. You know, it's one of the best feelings in the world is when I can call a colleague, you know, and say, hey, do you need any special ed teachers? Because I have somebody finishing their degree right now. And then it's just a matter of helping that person to like get the formal interview and do everything they need to do. But sometimes having those connections can make the difference. So let people know who you are and be friendly and network as much as you can. Yes. I was in an interview last week where it was high school students with scholarships. And this young man came on this interview, and all of a sudden I looked at him and I said, by any chance have we met before? I think I went to your class 4 years ago. And he goes, Mrs. Marshall, you came in my class when I was a freshman, and he told me the whole thing. And I said, oh, this is a whole different interview now. Because when you're coming in for a scholarship and I've already met you in a dual enrollment class when you were young, like, you know, it makes a difference. So all those relationships are such key, really key.
Yes, and that's exactly what I keep telling the students is never be embarrassed to make a connection, always ask questions. You know, you never know if you're wondering about something and you never ask, you'll never know. So just make sure that you ask questions, connect with people, make sure you keep those relationships going. I did want to point out too, and I wanted to give a shout out at the end of this program already to my wonderful students. Believe it or not, they are completely different colleges. Berenice, Teresa are from Rio Hondo College, and Rio Hondo College has a mentor program. Don't worry, El Camino, I am working on that for next semester for us, but you're still my students. So we have a teach mentor program at Rio Hondo College, and Berenice and Teresa were placed with me from Leah, and they got stuck with me, sorry. And so I know that maybe other mentors, they probably just did hours, but I kind of made them do this workshop as part of their hours. And I hope that you guys learned from it. I brought in Steven and Corretta from El Camino College because they were in my classroom as well. And I wanted to build this sort of working relationship because it's important that you connect not only with the students in your region, but there's so many people out there. So with that said, I want to thank you all for working wonderful together. I think that they all work really, really well together and they all pulled it through. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, is there anything else that you guys want to say? And with that, I think we're good to go.
Oh. Thank you, Miss Jennifer.
I wanted to mention that one of our four-year partners is on the line. She's not going to say anything, but she's texting in the chat box. Jennifer Killam. She's with the University of Laverne.
Hey, Laverne. I'm a grad from Laverne, Jennifer. Laverne has really great programs. I am a graduate from there. And so it's a great school. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for being on. And we do, I don't know, that is pretty much it, everybody. Thank you so much for being on the call. We will get back to you, Jennifer, on those professional development workshops. I did get everybody's email here on the chat box. I will make sure that I send this over to Bobby, and then you guys can see it on the regional website that we showed you guys if you guys want to take go back and listen to it. All right, that is all, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Thank you
Great
guys for
job. Thank
joining
you, everybody.
us.
Bye.
Bye.